Anyway, so yeah, it was super easy. I got it hooked up. I feel super professional right now. Ready to go, man.
Alright then, let's go.
Hi, let's go!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Wayward Somethings podcast, the podcast where me and my oldest friend, Rachel, discuss our favorite television show, Supernatural. We've been talking about getting a jingle going for this Supernatural themed podcast, and Rachel's gonna sing it right now. Go, Rachel!
Oh! No. Supernatural. You're so scary. Oh, my stars.
It's beautiful. If one of our 4 listeners could put that to music, we'll use it for every show.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think we do have about 4 listeners, which is pretty cool.
What? Blake just signed up for it earlier.
Oh, that's amazing.
He might be one of the 4. He started playing the first episode for me, and I ran away because I don't like to hear myself.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. But I think it's good. Well, we're enjoying ourselves. That's all that matters.
I'm having fun.
I was thinking, we could skip it today, but actually I just want to talk to Rachel about Supernatural. Stop hitting your microphone, Rachel.
I didn't. I set a glass down.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
So now I know that you can hear that.
Well, if you can just do, noisy things when you're not speaking, so they'll be easy to cut out.
Okay, I will try and save my noise making for when I'm not speaking.
Okay, well, welcome to the show, everyone. Today we're talking about episode 7, Hookman. Rachel?
Yes?
Did you watch the episode
I
this
sure
time?
did. I watched it this morning.
My gosh.
I said, I gotta go do my homework.
Yeah, I did it this morning too. And just up top, not to spoil what my attitude is going to be like for the rest of our podcast, but I love this episode. I freaking love this episode.
It's a solid one.
It's a really solid episode. It plays out like what I assume a slasher movie is, because I've never seen one. But it's really fun. And kind of some of the tension was gone rewatching it because I knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm. But
it's still a really fun episode. And I feel like the show is now, hitting its stride, kind of.
Yeah.
In terms of... And kind of forgot that the first season is basically all Monster of the Week.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
There's very little arc going on, which I love. I love the Monster of the Week ones. Those are obviously the best ones.
They really are. They are my favorite as well.
So let's talk through the episode itself, and then I tried to find, fun facts that we can read at the end, but I'm not sure. I'm looking them over right now, and I'm not sure how fun they are, so we'll just see how that works out. Alright, so how does the episode open, Raquelita?
Well, it opens with... I guess it opens with, this girl, she's getting dressed for a date.
Yeah.
And her roommate's like, oh, no, don't wear that. Wear this. And she hands her, a red sexy top.
Red sexy halter top.
Yeah.
That song at the beginning, I was like, is this a famous band? The Click 5, or, a band that was popular for half a second in the early 2000s. And I looked it up, and it's not. It's some band I've never heard of, Split Habit. I looked up, the song. Yeah, that's the name of the band, and the song is, Higher Mathematics or something. And the video on YouTube has, 5 views, which, we don't get those kind of numbers, so who are we to judge? But still, it's not a very famous song. So I probably just thought I recognized it because I've seen this episode a couple of times.
That probably so.
So, the girl initially comes out in, a kind of, a button-up top, and she says to Martha Stewart.
Yep.
As in, this isn't cool enough. And My thought when I saw that was like, this is Martha Stewart before she did prison time, so people still see her as like weak, and
she's not like hardened criminal now.
no, now we all have mad respect for Martha Stewart and her her dangerous ways of tax fraud or whatever she did. So the girl that we're talking about is Lori. Lori is like the main normal person in this episode.
And she doesn't wear the super, like, glossy, sparkly, all that. Like, her face is fairly neutral.
Yeah, her makeup's really understated in this one, which is nice. She's wearing a jean skirt.
Yep. Those were super in.
We had plenty of those.
We sure did.
And yeah, she's good. I think maybe because she was, like, supposed to be this conservative reverend's daughter kind of girl, they didn't overdo it with her, or maybe, like, the makeup artist on the show decided to dial it back a little bit. We'll see next episode if we go back to women wearing crazy makeup.
I also noticed that her roommate was pretty dressed up for just lounging around the room.
Yeah, she's wearing a sexy camisole as well.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm lounging, I lounge.
Yeah.
I'm wearing comfy clothes.
I'm wearing sweatpants and, like, a terry cloth sweater.
Yes. I'm wearing a sweatshirt and pajamas for pants and really big, thick socks.
I mean, 2020, or 2020 as most normal people call it, has spoiled me. Like, I never want to wear a bra or jeans again.
Man, who even does?
I had to, like, this week I put on normal clothes and shoes, and I was like, I don't like this.
It's really hard. Yeah, so the whole week I was out of town, and not once, when seeing family, did I put on real clothes. It was all sweats and leggings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, winter you can get away with the leggings.
For sure.
That's true. So did you see, like, there's, I think, a meme when this first all started happening, like, this is where we start wearing pajamas, and that explains, like, the Starfleet uniforms, why they're all pajama-like.
I'm down with that.
We never go back. Yeah, we never go back.
I mean, why would you want to? I've never enjoyed wearing real clothes.
Yeah.
Yep. I've always worn pajamas or gym clothes.
So what I'm hearing from you, Rachel, is that overall 2020 was the best year of your life.
I mean, it hasn't been bad.
With world events. So long as it means that you get to wear pajamas.
So far as how it's affected me personally, it's been okay.
You're kind of a monster.
Overall, no. Overall, though, bad things have happened, and I do not enjoy those.
Can you hear my dogs going crazy?
Yeah, I can. What's going on? Are you torturing them or something?
I think someone is walking by, or there's a cat in the neighborhood, or a leaf blew past the window. Could be literally anything with those guys.
Sure,
or at least not in the room with me. And I'm, like, fully on the other side of the house.
Are they friends with you now?
My dogs?
I mean, are they friends with each other?
Oh, they love each other.
That's good.
They're like a perfect match for each other. They get along so
well. You do have wood floors. Sound travels like crazy.
And that's true. And I don't have, like, we have, like, those doors that aren't, like, fully wood. They're just, like, plywood and hollow in the middle, so sound travels through that. Anyway, that was an interesting diversion from Supernatural. So the guy that she's going on a date with looks like a young Thomas Hayden Church. You know, he was, like, the bad guy in George of the Jungle. You know that guy? Thomas Hayden Church?
No.
Oh, well, he looks like a young Thomas Hayden Church, at least in some lights at the very beginning. He doesn't look like it quite so closely later on. But he is taking her to an abandoned road underneath railroad tracks.
Yep. That's prime date location, I guess.
Yeah, because they can't arrive on time. And obviously also because he's a bit of a creeper.
He is super creepy.
He starts feeling her up, and she's like, no. And he's like, no, it's okay.
I know. So, I know, right? Like, oh, no, it's okay. You don't need to freak out.
So he deserves to die, and in a few minutes he does. They hear, like, I am not a fan of all these metal on metal sounds that we hear at the beginning of this, but something's coming and it's scraping up all the metal signs around them.
Yep.
And he decides to. First of all, that's not a sound that would need investigating, I don't think. Like, if I heard that sound during, it's kind of a rainy night, I would just assume that, like, it's the wind blowing against something.
That's true. Maybe where they are, it's, like, so secluded. And it's just a little bit weird.
There's no wind in that secluded location, Rachel? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't think that's a wind sound for, like, a not storm.
I guess it wasn't stormy. It looked a little rainy.
It's not rainy.
Okay.
Maybe it was. There was a little mist on the windows.
Well, anyway, irregardless, why would you go investigate something like that? Why would you ever leave the car?
That is true. I mean, I love how they do that. Instead of just driving away, if you're thinking maybe this is a little sketch, maybe you should just leave.
Maybe just leave.
You have a way out. No, he doesn't. He's like, oh, what's that?
He gets out of the car and he just, like, stands in the middle of the street. Like, he's gonna fight whatever that sound was.
Yep.
And, then what happens? Then he gets, attacked.
Yep, though then he sees, like, scraping along the side of the car.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't see anything doing it.
Yeah, the scraping just sort of appears there. Which is such a cool effect. I really like that effect.
It was cool. The tires go pop.
Yep.
One of the windows shatters.
Yep.
It's getting creepy. She is a little more reasonable than he was. She decides to roll up the window.
Yeah. The window that just broke?
No, the front window.
Oh, the window doesn't, like, shatter. It just breaks.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right.
Because she's pretty secure in that car.
And then she hears a bunch of scraping on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be pretty freaked out, you know?
Yeah.
But then she does something weird.
Which is?
She gets out of the car.
Yeah, she's also an idiot.
The keys are right there. She could just drive away. Yeah,
I mean, the tires are popped, but just, you're not worried about the rims at that stage. Just
I would definitely not be worried about my rims.
Fuck up that guy's rims and leave.
Like, it's better than getting murdered. So, so she gets out of the car, and she starts to do her little fast walk.
Yep.
In her stupid little skirt and heels or whatever.
Yeah, how far away is she from, like, anything?
Probably kind of far.
Oh, but did we say that she sees the dead guy, like, on top of the car?
She, like, turns around when she's made it a little ways, and she sees him hanging upside down. Bloody. Dead.
He's not in a good way.
He's not in a good way, and she does a scream. She's pretty good at that scream. Yeah, she gets to do that a fair bit in this episode. she always nails it. She sure does.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that, and that's kind of the intro.
That's the intro. And then we go to Sam and Dean sitting at, like, a coffee place, like an outdoor coffee food truck thing. I don't know.
Yes.
And Dean is giving Sam a hard time for ordering a caramel macchiato or something?
Yep, it was some vanilla something or other, but it was super...
It was something other than the black coffee that Dean is drinking.
Dean's a black coffee kind of guy.
I feel like some people, like, I can enjoy black coffee when it's really good coffee, and I want to be like Janeway, just like everybody else. But, yeah, why is it more manly to drink something unenjoyable?
I don't know.
I would go for a caramel macchiato right now.
Absolutely. So, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the Dean thing, is he just takes things, I don't know, plain.
Yeah.
Like, dude wants, whiskey or black coffee or a burger, and Sam's like, no man, I want a salad. I want to go to a farmer's market and
have fresh vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Sam cares a little bit more.
About himself. Dean also cares. Dean just cares about looking cool. Sort of like toxic masculinity.
Absolutely.
Where he just, like, is constantly protecting his manhood. And I just wish that Dean could, loosen up and be himself and not have to worry too much.
Maybe,
just accept who you are.
Accept who you are, man.
Yeah.
Accept it. So, and Sam's coffee does look good.
It does look good.
It's in that tall, fancy cup, and it's got that foam, and half-calf, venti vanilla latte.
There used to be this little cafe in Addison that would they were open like late night, and they would do espressos in those little cups. Ooh. Those big cups. Big frothy things, and you could put like Baileys and stuff in it. It was yummy.
Nice.
It's yummy. Anyway.
Nice.
Anyway, so when I was watching the scene where they were getting their coffee, Sam tells Dean to bite me, but I had the subtitles on because I always have the subtitles on, and the subtitle said "shut up," which is weird. Right?
That's not the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Cat.
Oh my goodness. Thunderfoot?
Yep.
Ugh, Thunderfoot. Always interrupting our show. You can pick, you can hear him in multiple episodes. So
I love it.
He's a regular guest, Thunderfoot.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
Okay, so, Dean has picked up on this story coming out of Iowa of a guy attacked by an invisible attacker. Sam has been looking for Dad, trying to, see if their dad got any, parking tickets or whatever. Trying to track him down.
Still looking for Dad.
So, with their identity thieving kind of stuff, are their driver's license and things in their real names?
That is a great question. I have no idea. I don't know how they would make that work. They don't have a permanent address, or...
Yeah.
I don't know
that John
anything.
is using, fake names everywhere.
Yeah. Probably.
He's a paranoid person.
I don't really know how they live the lives that they do.
No. Well, it's a television show, so that explains part of it.
Yep. You just have to pretend that stuff doesn't matter and watch this.
So Sam doesn't want to check it out necessarily, but Dean says that Dad would check it out, and that's their reason for going. So do you think Sam thinks that maybe their dad might be there? Or he's just doesn't want to have a fight with Dean about Dean's daddy issues?
I think he just kind of is going along with it. He's like, yeah, whatever, we're doing this now.
Because, Dean is such a daddy's boy. He wants to do whatever.
He's a daddy's boy.
Alright, so then they go to this college in Iowa, and they arrive at a frat house, and dude is eating a banana while fixing a car. Well, there's 3 guys, fixing this car, and I don't know what they all feel like they're doing. They just seem to just have their hands on the engine. But isn't a banana, the worst possible thing to eat while fixing a car? I mean, maybe not the worst possible thing. Maybe, soup would be worse, but still.
I just don't know why you would want to eat anything while fixing a car. Your hands get dirty.
Yeah, your hands get real dirty. Well, he's not fixing it. He's just standing there with his hand in the engine. Well,
he's got a screwdriver.
Oh,
so
okay.
Maybe he's doing something in there. It doesn't look like he really knows what he's doing, though.
No. That's just a manly activity to be doing out front of a frat house, I guess.
But he needs his banana.
He needs his potassium. Potassium's very important.
It's super important.
I had this friend who had, a potassium deficiency. Or, he was drinking too much and, like, he was low in potassium.
Oh my gosh.
And he, like, woke up one day and he was just, like, paralyzed. Like, he couldn't move.
Oh.
It didn't last forever.
Yeah.
But, like, he went to the hospital and they're like, you're just super low in potassium. Dude.
Yeah, it was muscle cramps.
Yeah, so you need to...
Apparently that was a pretty big muscle cramp.
Everybody out there needs to eat potassium and maybe not drink constantly.
We'll just take all the joy out of life.
Hey, drink constantly while eating bananas and you'll probably be fine.
You could make margaritas and salt the rim with potassium chloride.
Can you eat potassium chloride?
Yeah, I think some people do.
I thought potassium was the one where, like, if you touched it with water, it would, like...
Oh, crap.
You're the chemist, Rachel.
I am pretty sure potassium chloride salt is something people eat.
Oh, okay. Well, then, I trust you.
I think I actually saw a little bottle of potassium chloride salt at one of my relatives once.
Oh. Well, just because people do eat it doesn't mean it's good. People are stupid.
Let's see. Potassium chloride is a potassium salt that forms naturally. Typically extracted from the ground or sea, when used in food manufacturing, it can replace sodium chloride and can help reduce sodium by up to 50%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Learn something new every day. So,
Mm-hmm.
that guy eating the banana while fixing the car is the smartest man in the show, probably. Is that what we've decided?
Well, I mean, supposedly Sam's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he did get the better coffee.
That is... Oh, you know what I was wondering? Like, does Sam actually was he graduated?
I think he was applying for law school, so I don't know. I'm not sure if he did actually get his undergrad or not.
Because you can apply for, like, grad school in, like, your last semester of your undergrad.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it was Halloween, so it would have been fall semester, so he's missing spring semester.
He probably was so close to his degree and just didn't get it.
That's so sad.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well. Anyway, they're posing as college students. They're gonna stay... You keep hitting your mic, I feel like.
Oh, can you hear this?
Yeah, I can.
Oh. That was the USB cable. I guess that's in the way. Here. I've put it out of the way. Hopefully it's quieter now.
Just don't move. Just sit still for like a full hour while we talk about this show.
I can't do that.
Anyway, they are posing as college students who've transferred in. And what's interesting to me about this cover is that they always go older, but this week they're going younger, and it's still equally unbelievable.
Like, Dean does not look like he's going to college.
No, he doesn't look like they would be like, at one point they claim that Sam is a freshman. Sam is not a freshman.
No, Sam definitely looks to be older than that baby who is painting himself purple.
Oh my god, so they get assigned a roommate in the frat house. They get to stay in the frat house.
It was so easy.
Yeah, it was so easy to just... They don't background check or anything.
We need to crash here. They're like, yeah, sure, go on in.
And they're staying with this guy who's getting ready for a football game. And he is painting himself for the football game, but he appears to be using house paint to do that. So would that guy die?
I don't know what would happen to him. I don't think it's good.
No, it's not good. Can't be good.
Nope, not good.
And once again, someone needs to paint his back, and Dean has Sam do it to protect Dean's masculinity.
Absolutely.
Because it's not masculine to paint another man's back.
No.
And this kid tells them about the Reverend's daughter, that the dude that died, the young Thomas Hayden Church that died at the beginning of the episode, was with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the Reverend's daughter, and she lives in town, and she's real pretty. That was the info that they got from that dude.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go to the Reverend's church, and the Reverend is played by Dan Butler.
Yes, it's Bulldog.
Yeah, it's Bulldog from Frasier, playing quite a different character, because Bulldog is like the gregarious sports announcer, or sports talk radio dude. But now he's this prim Reverend preaching against the sins of the flesh.
Yep.
And they walk in on the funeral, and they, like, accidentally close the door of the church really loud. And the organ music that was playing just stops while they go to their seat. It was a nice, funny moment.
I like how the look Dean gives to Sam. He was like, really?
So yeah, I guess they go to the funeral, and then they introduce themselves to Lori.
Oh, but she turned around, she looked when they closed the door really loud.
Well, yeah.
And then later, when they introduced themselves to her, she's like, oh yeah, I saw you in there. I was like, ooh, burn.
Yeah. I feel like Lori kind of becomes immediately obsessed with Sam in this episode.
Yeah. She gets pretty close to him pretty fast.
Yeah, she just, like, I mean, who can blame her? He's a handsome dude, but she just, like, immediately, I know my boyfriend just died, but you're hot.
I wasn't under the impression that dude was her boyfriend. Felt like he was just some guy she was going on a date with.
Maybe, yeah.
So I don't think he would have gotten another date after that. Oh, it's okay.
Well, maybe he wouldn't have gotten another date, or maybe he would, because Lori doesn't seem all that bright, in my opinion. IMO. Anyway, so they introduce themselves to her, and then the Reverend comes up, because he's overprotective daddy, and Dean kind of splits the Reverend off, letting Sam talk to Lori alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sam is always the one that interviews the people. He's the people person.
He is the people person. Dean's a little more awkward, you know.
Dean's a little bit more awkward.
Dean's a lot more awkward.
He just kind of comes across like, have you seen a ghost lately?
Yep. We were watching an episode, and it was later on the show, and Dean was interviewing this guy. He's like, did anyone in your family do anything weird lately? You know, or have they ever done it? Are there big secrets in your family? And it was just so, you know, just so bold and straightforward. Yeah. And then he was like, well, you better watch yourself. And it was just very Dean.
Yeah.
Sam's a lot more cool about it, you know?
Yeah, Dean is not a subtle man.
Then the dude was freaking out, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
He's like, no, not like that, but just, you better watch your back. Oh.
So in this episode, then they go to the library, right?
Oh, it's important to note that her friend was at the funeral too.
Yeah.
The one who gave her the sexy halter top.
Yeah.
And she tried to get her to come drink with them that night.
Yeah, they were gonna watch TV and take tequila shots. Yeah.
So that happened, and the girl turned her down. She's like, no, I gotta do dinner with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, then they do go to the library.
All college libraries look exactly the same. And I didn't really realize it until I was watching this.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And they're looking through dusty boxes of files of arrest records going back like 100 years. Do they know at this point that they suspect that it's the Hook Man, right?
Yeah, they latch onto that pretty quick.
And they say that every urban legend has a source, just like they kind of did with the Bloody Mary episode. I like how they're looking through these boxes of just papers, and Dina's like, this is how you spent 4 good years of your life. Like, that's what people do in college.
Yep. And Sam goes along with it. He's like, yeah, welcome to higher education.
Yeah.
And that's not how my college was.
That's not my college experience either. But this is, again, Dean being like, you went to college.
Mm-hmm.
College boy.
He's got to get that in.
Yeah. And, let's see. Do they find the arrest record at this point?
Yes, they do. They figure out who this guy is pretty early on in the episode.
Yeah.
So, they find out it's this, was it a reverend?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a reverend.
1862, a preacher named Jacob Carnes.
Do you want to say what Jacob Carnes did?
He murdered a bunch of prostitutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he murdered them in ways that are similar to how people get murdered in this episode.
And he had a hook for a hand. Said that some of them he murdered in their beds, and they had blood-soaked sheets, and some of them he murdered and left hanging upside down. Kind of like what we saw with the dude in the car.
Yeah.
And, he had a hook for a hand, and it was kind of a crazy-looking hook.
Yeah, it's a very ornate hook for a hand, and it's got this, like, little cross symbol thing at the bottom, or at the, like, cuff of it. And meanwhile, Lori is coming home to her dorm after sort of having a fight with her dad about living in the sorority house and the ways in which she lives her life. And she goes up the stairs, and there's, like, scratches on the wall. And she gets a little nervous about that. She's walking through, and you see inside someone's room at the sorority house. And I noticed that there's a girl with, like, a massive Avril Lavigne poster on the wall, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think...
Oh, yeah, there she is.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne was, like, pretty done by the time I was in college. It wasn't cool to listen to Avril Lavigne anymore.
Well, apparently this girl didn't get the memo.
Yeah, what a loser. She's also studying, so double loser.
She is studying. So the girl goes in her room, and she opens the door, and just kind of leaves it open, and then she goes in the bathroom, and the two doors kind of meet, you know?
Yeah.
They form a little triangle, and, and then she comes out.
Yeah.
And she goes to bed.
So Taylor is asleep in bed. Taylor is the roommate.
Taylor's asleep.
The first time you actually hear her name, I think. But, she's asleep in bed. And so Lori goes to bed without closing the door.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I can't sleep in a room with the door open.
I do not like it either. Especially if you were in a sorority. Like,
yeah, and
there's a lot of other people there.
There's people running around. They're not all asleep yet.
Yeah.
But the reason why, so there's this part of The Sixth Sense where, what's his face? Haley Joel Osment is, hiding under a bed, and a woman, walks by the door, and it's a ghost, and, she turns to look at him, and her face is all messed up.
Yeah.
But, ever since I saw that, I'm I never want to be in my bedroom with the open door ever again. I'm such a coward.
It's okay. It's like me in the mirrors, you know? I don't like to look in mirrors at night. But that is kind of weird that they go to bed with the door open.
Yeah, and then it zooms in on the door there's someone hiding behind the door.
And you kind of see it.
You kind of see, it kind of looks like someone wearing a hat and, a big coat.
It does.
And meanwhile, at the same time, Sam and Dean are out at the scene of the first crime, where the 9 Mile Road, which also coincidentally is where all the prostitutes got murdered 100 years ago.
Yes.
And so at this point, they take out the shotgun and they explain that the shotguns are full of rock salt instead of buckshot, so it will just deter the ghosts. But I feel like that is what they used in the pilot episode against the woman in white, right? Because he shoots them with a shotgun in that, and I guess because I know the show, I assume that was rock salt.
Huh. It had to have been, because she disappeared.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I guess they didn't get the chance to explain it to us.
Yeah.
It just happened.
It just happened.
And they figured they should explain it to us now.
Maybe they weren't totally sure they would get picked up, you know? And you don't want to explain, too much in the first episode. If it's all just exposition, that's no fun.
Nope.
So, they go out there and they're looking for the Hookman, and the cops show up like immediately and arrest them. But they're able to convince them that Dean is hazing Sam. Which I guess at like this point, hazing is still sort of acceptable. But you, like, if you told a cop you were hazing someone today, you'd probably still get in trouble.
You probably would.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was funny when he told them to, like, get down on the ground, and Dean was like, he had the gun.
Yeah. Dean doesn't want to get his leather coat dirty again.
There's a little sibling stuff there, you know. He had the gun.
Yeah. So, Lori wakes up the next day, and she sees a puddle of blood on the ground.
Oh.
Yeah. And Taylor is in her bed all slashed up and her sheets soaked with blood, just like the women that whatever his face killed.
Yep. There's a little message scratched. It looks like it's scratched into the wall, but there's also blood on it.
Yeah, I guess he, like, killed her first and there was blood on the hook. And then he, like, used that hook to carve the wall so the blood would still be on it.
And it was like, aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?
Yeah, and the same symbol that we saw on the cuff of the police record that they saw.
And, you know, like, when he killed that other dude, it was so loud.
Yeah.
There was scratching everywhere, but he scratches a whole message into the wall.
Yeah.
And slashes this girl up. Yeah. And she doesn't wake up. I don't know.
Maybe ghosts can be quiet when they want to be.
I guess so. So she does her awesome scream again.
Yeah, she does. She nails it once again. And the police come, and Sam and Dean see the police. They're leaving the police station, and they see the police rush off.
And so they follow them.
So they follow them. Maybe, like, while the police are still there isn't the best time to break into the house, but that's the time they chose to do it.
Oh my gosh. I know. Like, there's so many people around, and like, oh yeah, we'll just crawl in this window here. This is a great idea.
Yeah, Sam just, like, climbs up on a balcony, no problem. Well, he's probably as tall as that balcony, because he's a giant person. But, so they go in there, and they see the message, and they say, oh, that's right out of the legend. Oh, speaking of that, like, I know when we were telling, like, scary stories at, you know, sleepovers or whatever, campfires, I know I heard, like, a sort of version of the Hookman story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not.
But it's, like, the beginning part. That's what I heard. It was, like, a guy and a girl are out on, like, a country road, and they hear a sound, and he goes out to investigate, and then she comes out and he's dead. Like, I heard that kind of scary story before.
Was it called Hookman?
He was a guy with a hook, but I think in the version I heard it was, like, an escaped, like, criminal, and he had a hook for a hand also. I don't know. I don't really remember, but it wasn't that detailed of a story. But they seem to have, like, a fairly detailed workup of what's going on in this Hookman legend.
Okay.
One thing that Sam says at this point that confused me, and you've watched all through the show, like, more recently than me, so maybe you'll know. He says, I've never smelled ozone that strong before.
Yeah, I don't hear them say that ever again.
What does ozone mean?
Ozone, so, like, if you have a house fire,
yeah, they'll,
like, clean your stuff in ozone.
Oh.
Like, stick it in a room full of ozone.
What is that? What is it?
Ozone, I think it's O3.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. It's up in the atmosphere.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So what does that have to do with the spirit?
I don't know. I never hear them say it in regards to a spirit ever again.
Yeah. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Okay.
While you eat whatever you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so ozone. According to the great Supernatural Wiki, Ghosts, spirits, and other supernatural beings often leave behind evidence of their presence. One type of evidence is ozone, which is a poisonous, unstable gaseous form of oxygen formed from the diatomic oxygen by electrical discharge or exposure to ultraviolet radiation. Ozone can be detected by its smell. The stronger the smell, the stronger the spirit's presence. The ability to smell ozone differs from person to person, but most people can smell it at about 0.015 ppmv. Ozone is also the primary cause in the scent that precedes a rainstorm.
It does have a certain smell.
Yeah. But that is like the only time they ever refer to a spirit giving off ozone.
Yeah, I've never heard of them. No. Never again.
Ever again. So that's just sort of a weird throwaway line.
It was a little weird. They do stick with the sulfur for the demons.
Yep. That's
throughout
true.
The series. But yeah, ozone, never hear of it again.
They tend to, in the future, when they're asking about questions about ghosts, they always ask about cold spots and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, so, also, the Hookman might be a poltergeist.
Ew.
So, a poltergeist, they say, can attach themselves to one person. And I also wasn't sure what the difference is between poltergeist and ghosts.
I'm not sure.
Let's see. So, again, according to the Supernatural Wiki, see, poltergeists are unique spirits that seek attention through sometimes violent and deadly actions.
Woo!
That doesn't seem super different than what a ghost is.
No.
And you get rid of them the same way by salting and burning the bones. So, I think it says they're always invisible.
I think I'm finding websites that talk about if you actually have a ghost.
Oh, cool.
Ghostsandgravestones.com. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Yes.
There's a need help. Quick chat. So if you are haunted, maybe you should go to this website and use the chat feature to get help.
Did you find the Ghost Facers website? Is that what you're on?
No, it's it's ghostsandgravestones.com.
Interesting.
Wow.
Well, they're pretty sure that it's this guy, Carney, and they're pretty sure that he's attached to the Reverend. But unfortunately, Carney was buried in an unmarked grave. Mm-hmm. So what if we don't get to see them salt and burn bones this time again?
Oh!
They are at some sort of party, and they decide that they have that whole discussion, and Dean decides to go and try and find that unmarked grave.
Yes.
And Sam goes to Lori's house to stalk her a bit.
That's right.
And she's upstairs having a fight with her dad, and she sees him down there and just goes down to talk to him. It's totally okay that this guy that she met one time shows up at her house.
She was really okay with it.
She was very okay with it. It was not... She needs help. She's not making good choices.
Sam was like, "Oh, I'm here to keep an eye on you."
No thank you, dude.
Yep, pretty much. So, meanwhile, we see Dean in a cemetery.
Yeah, and that unmarked...
Well, it is marked. He sees a gravestone with that same Hookman symbol on it.
Yeah, the unmarked grave is marked. So Dean digs up the grave.
Yes.
He makes quick work of it.
He really does. Oh, also, it's one of the few times you see him in only a t-shirt.
That's true. Well, I think anytime he's digging up a grave, he's down to the t-shirt.
it still looks weird to me. Like, where are all your layers, dude?
Yeah, that is true. He is normally layered up, but they are in Vancouver, so it's probably quite cold there. Well, they're in Iowa, but I don't know.
They are in Vancouver.
So Lori is basically just throwing herself at Sam.
Yeah, man, she starts making out with him.
Before she starts making out with him, she tells him that she found out her dad, the Reverend, is having an affair with a married woman. Mm-hmm. So she's really upset that he's lecturing her about morality when he's doing something immoral.
And she said that she was raised to believe that if you do something wrong, you get punished.
Right. And then she starts making out with a man she just met.
And he seems kind of into it.
Yeah, he's briefly into it, and then he remembers his dead girlfriend, Jessica. And he's like, no, I can't. I can't.
So he,
like a month ago.
He, is a little bit moved on, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know how fast it would take me to move on from something like that.
I mean, that'd be kind of rough.
But I also wouldn't be interested in a girl that just, I don't know. Can't get over Lori and her weird choices. Being okay with him. You met him once and he showed up at your house. Come on. With a gun to protect you from something.
Yep.
And he, appears at the same time that people start dying around you. It's sus.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah. I found the dialogue that maybe the part of the reason that I don't like her is that I found the dialogue that she's, saying around then about, people who do things wrong and get punished or whatever. It's kind of clunky, and she's not delivering it particularly well.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
She's great at screaming.
She's not great at screaming.
At acting sad and angry.
I don't know. I kind of think that maybe it was good, though, because she's the preacher's daughter. I felt like maybe she was supposed to be a little bit awkward. She doesn't quite know how to dress, doesn't quite know how to do things.
Yeah, I can see that. So, her dad comes out after she was making out with Sam, and, he's yelling at her to get in the house, and just then, the hook man appears behind him, and, Dad gets hooked in the shoulder and pulled into the house.
Woo!
And Sam has to go and run in and shoot the hook man with the rock salt and save the dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to the hospital. Sam is giving a statement to the police about what he saw, and saying that, there was an attacker that ran off with a hook. There's a moment, so Dean shows up at the hospital and says, I burned the bones, he shouldn't be there. And then they figure out that maybe the hook man is attached to his hook, and the hook is still out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And to backtrack a little bit, we do get to see Dean salt and burn bones. That's exciting. We've been waiting for that for 7 episodes.
I know, 7, it's almost 2 months after the show started.
Yeah.
And we finally see salting and burning, and he salts them good.
He does salt them good.
Makes a big show of the salt and the lighter fluid, and...
Yeah, he's got a great flourish when he's, doing the salting and burning. He's always, standing there all cool. I don't know.
I like how he just flicks the match into the grave.
Yeah.
I mean, that would definitely have not stayed lit.
No, that would have gone out, but it looks cool.
I mean, it looks really cool. Just flick the match on in, and it's like...
Yeah. A couple of times when he does it, he, throws in, a full Zippo lighter. Which, those things are sort of... They're not cheap. And also, I wouldn't just leave that evidence behind, of your desecration of a grave. Anyway. They are at the hospital, and they need to find the hook. And I like I like it. They say, if we find the hook, then we can stop the hook man. They say we stop the hook man, in unison together, which is kind of silly, but it's a cute moment, I feel like.
It is cute. Yes.
So then they go to break into the church and the house to basically just destroy anything that's made of silver. Dean's got the furnace all cranked up and they're just throwing everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
How hot does it need to be for silver to melt?
I do not know off the top of my head.
Why don't you have that information for me, Rachel?
I have never needed it.
I need you to contribute more to this podcast in terms of your scientific knowledge.
Well, silver melting point, Google came up as 1,763 Fahrenheit. So I'm not sure if they made the fire that hot.
Probably not. And they're also just destroying all the valuable possessions.
I love how they just bust up in this church and just start taking everything. Like, it's so them. Like, they're so, throughout the series, just, they're kind of clunky and just bull in a china shop style, right? Like, they just come in and do stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for a good cause, but at the same time, there is no finesse.
Yeah.
There is no gingerly anything. No. They just go and grab all the silver.
That is so true. And despite burning all of the silver that they have found, the Hookman still shows up. Because Lori goes to the church and she's crying because she now feels guilty for the 2 deaths that have happened in the attack on her father. She thinks like she's the connection, which she is.
She sure is.
Then, when she's saying that she's guilty and Sam's trying to comfort her, Dean's still downstairs trying to, like, burn things.
Mm-hmm. And then she says the magic words. I should be punished.
Yes. So the Hookman, I don't think we really expressed before, the Hookman is, like, latching onto Lori and feeding off, like, all of her repressed feelings about morality. Like, she felt like that guy was pressuring her into sex and she didn't want to have sex. So he gets attacked. And Taylor was pressuring her into drinking and all kinds of party, killing her lifestyle stuff, which she feels guilty about, like, partaking in, so then she gets killed. And her dad was having an affair, which she didn't think was right, and then he gets attacked. So it's the Hookman is just feeding off of her repressed feelings. So now it's attacking her because she feels guilty. And this is the thing that really sells me on this episode. The scene where Lori and Sam are sort of like running through the church trying to get away from the Hookman. And he's like chasing them, and sometimes he's invisible and sometimes he's visible.
Yeah.
And he's scraping up the walls.
I love the scraping the walls.
Oh, it's such a cool action scene, I feel like. Without, I don't know if it counts as an action scene because Sam's not really, like, fighting him or anything.
How can you, man? You just see scraping in the walls.
Yeah, but it's this really exciting scene.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot. And I still was excited, even though I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I love it.
Maybe Sam should have taken the gun with him instead of Dean keeping it.
Oh, yeah, so Dean runs up, and he's like, man, I burned all the silver. And then you see this, like, really long, drawn-out part where the dude's just scraping all the walls.
Yeah.
Like, really long time.
He's really just messing with him.
And so Sam sees Lori's necklace, and he's like, hey, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
And it turns out it was an heirloom of the church. So they just grab that sucker.
He just grabs it right off her.
Just grabs it, man, and he tosses it to Dean, and Dean tosses him the gun, and Dean runs down to burn it, and Sam's got the gun to try and shoot this invisible Hookman.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Hookman's about to get him. It's getting bad.
Yeah, it's the very last second.
I'm watching this, and there's a lot of the Hook just smashing through windows, too.
Yeah.
And doors. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that church gets really beat up. They could have used some of that silver that they had to, like, pay off some of the damage.
If only.
But the necklace melts because...
Very slowly.
melts slowly, but I mean, still that it's melting at all, and that fire is impressive.
It very much reminded me of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's doing its meltdown, and you're like just waiting for the dude to die, and you're like, is it gonna? Is it gonna?
Yeah.
And finally, his hook starts to melt.
Yeah.
And then he catches on fire.
Yeah, and that effect looks really cool. That's like, well, I think one of the first effects of a ghost melting or whatever that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. I liked it. And that's how you know the ghost is dead.
Yep. If you don't see it melt and scream, then it's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we didn't really mention the fact that, like, the hook went back to the church when he died. When Cobb or whatever.
We kind of skipped that. They went back to the library before they went to the church.
Yeah.
And they found some documents saying that the hook had gone to the church.
They do good, thorough research, yeah.
They do. But that's why they go to the church.
Yeah.
To melt down all the silver.
And they do. And then at the end of the episode, the ambulance is there, and they've given their statements, and the cops are like, never come back to this town, you dudes. You troublemakers. And Dean is watching Sam kind of have a minute with Lori by the ambulance. And he looks a little disappointed that Sam didn't just, like, make out with her or whatever right there.
He does. Yeah.
He's worried about his brother, and he wants him to be happy again. But also that would have been weird if Sam had just done that then.
Would have been a little weird, man. And, the cops tell them they better leave.
Yeah.
They don't like them.
Yeah, we don't like your kind.
They want them gone.
And then they drive off.
That was interesting. Lori didn't try to figure out what had happened. She's talking to Sam. She's like, I still don't know what happened, but I know you saved my life. I'm like, why don't you just ask him? Why don't you just ask him what happened?
Lori's so dumb. Lori's so dumb.
But why doesn't she want to know? That's not being dumb. That's just no curiosity.
Because she just sort of lets things happen to her. She just floats through life, lets things happen to her, and then asks no questions and learns nothing.
Yeah, that fits.
Dumb Lori. Anyway.
Dumb Lori, dumb.
Anyway, that was the end of the episode. We did the whole episode. We talked about all of it.
Yeah, man. We did it.
So, Rachel.
Yes?
We should do our first rating system.
Yes.
So every week, Rachel and I discuss, we give this, I'm gonna start again. Every week, Rachel and I, give the episode a rating from, 1 to Oh My Stars, which is what, Rachel's mom used to say anytime anything scary happened on television. So Oh My Stars being the scariest possible thing. And the week before last, we had our first ever Oh My Stars rating with Bloody Mary. And this week, I want to know, Rachel, how scary you found this episode.
That's a good question. So, it's not like, it's not like the plane episode, where it just wasn't scary. I mean, it got a little intense. But it's definitely not an Oh My Stars. I don't know. I'll call it a 5.
No. Okay, good. So I don't feel like...
Why'd you say no?
I don't know, Rachel. I don't know. I agree with you. A 5 is a good rating. It's not a scary episode. I think, like, I was scared, the first time I watched it. Mm-hmm. Not, like, scared for myself, but, like, invested really in the story. And the second time, like, knowing... Because the Hookman could just, like, seem to be able to just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you never knew where he was coming next. And knowing now that it was Lori the whole time changed it for me.
It does. But, you know, the part where he's hiding behind the door, I mean, that's pretty creepy. Just knowing that he was there. And, I guess you never see the dude's face. That makes it a little creepier. And, yeah, he just pops up out of nowhere, does his dragging his hook on the wall thing, crashes it through windows and doors. Pretty exciting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's an exciting episode. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe it's more exciting than scary. Yeah, maybe I'll drop it down to 4.
I think that I'll go 4 too. I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very intense, exciting, thrilling episode. If you've never seen it before, it's a really fun episode to watch. And even if you have seen it before, it's a fun episode to watch. Because I definitely enjoyed it watching it again. So yeah, we agree for the first time ever.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. What about our other rating?
So you were tasked last week with coming up with another scale for just basically whether we like the episode or not. And did you do that homework, Rachel?
No, I forgot I had to do that homework. What did we use last week?
We said, what did we say last week?
It was plain for not scary.
No, not scary. Plain for we didn't like it.
Oh yeah, plain for we didn't like it. Skin, or the fairies, or let's go with the one where they play themselves.
Oh.
It's the French Connection.
Not the French Connection, the French Mistake.
The French Mistake.
Is that the name of the episode? We have to...
The French something. That's gonna be, like, my top score.
So then, if we're using the name of that episode, it has to be this on a scale from, the Phantom Traveler to the French Mistake.
Yeah. And what's the middle rating? Skin?
I guess. We haven't, reached... I mean, we're kind of limiting ourselves to the first season so far, because we haven't... But Skin
I felt that this was along the lines of Skin. It was solid, you know? There was action, there was research, there was lots of good screaming.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Very good. Yeah, I'll call it Skin, middle level.
This is such a weird scale. We're just gonna have to, explain it every single time.
Well, yeah.
I think that this is French Mistake level for me.
Wow.
I really love this episode.
Nice.
I forgot how much I loved it. I think part of it is that, I had forgotten how much I loved it, so I hadn't, rewatched it, because I tend to, rewatch the ones that I really like.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so it was, it felt fresh again, and, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I just feel like it's a well-balanced, well-told episode. It's really fun to watch. Lori's dumb, but everyone else is great. Yeah, I'm gonna go with French Mistake.
Alright, nice.
I'm glad that we found an even more complicated scale for rating these.
So excited.
The episodes.
I'm so excited.
So next week is Bugs.
Yes.
Bugs.
Yes.
I have a lot to say about that one.
There is a lot to be said.
So Rachel, is there anything... Oh, I was gonna talk about, fun facts from the episode. Just looking at, IMDb's, list of fun facts for this episode, Hookman from 2005. So, this was originally set to air after episode 2, Wendigo. However, Eric Kripke felt that the episode wasn't scary enough, so he allowed the director David Jackson more time to build in some more scares by bumping it down the schedule. Huh. Oh. So initially it wasn't scary enough.
Wow.
Wonder
what they added.
One of the facts is that this is one of Eric Kripke's least favorite episodes.
What? Look at you.
Yeah, me and Eric Kripke differ. So it's based on 2 different urban legends, the Hook Killer and the Lover's Lane Killer. So I think that what I had heard initially was the Lover's Lane Killer.
Okay.
So when Sam and Dean are going over the arrest records, Sam finds the origin of the Hookman, to which Dean says, "Nice job, Dr. Venkman." A reference to Ghostbusters from 1984.
You're right.
Did you catch that reference, Rachel?
Blake caught it for me.
Oh, that's nice. Are you not a Ghostbusters fan?
I am, but I just didn't catch the reference. I honestly don't remember their names.
Well, Venkman was one of them.
I just watched it too for Halloween, but I don't remember their names.
Bill Murray.
And I know
Dan
Bill Murray was in it.
Dr. Venkman. I don't remember their names either, actually. Okay. Another fact. This is a long fact. Although this film used the name of a real town, Ankeny, Iowa, it creates an entirely fictional town around it. The real Ankeny is a major suburb of Des Moines in Polk County. Remember when we went to Des Moines?
I do. It was so boring there, but I did have a good time.
We went on a college visiting weekend to this Bible college in Des Moines, and while we were there, 8 people got engaged. It was just a school that people went to get married, essentially.
It kind of looked that way, yeah. We weren't super into it.
No.
But we had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. We got to go to Iowa.
Yeah. It was exciting for us at the time.
Got to have sweet chili.
Oh, yeah.
That chili was not good. No offense to the person who gave us chili. Thank you for giving us chili. But chili shouldn't be sweet. It should be spicy. Anyway. The real Ankeny is a major suburb of Des Moines, while the town portrayed in this episode is a sleepy little town in county. The events of the episode also take place at the fraternities and sororities of the fictional Eastern Iowa University. So there are 3 colleges in Ankeny: Faith Baptist Bible College, that's not the name of the place we went, right? I don't remember where we went.
I don't remember either.
Upper Iowa University.
Oh, yeah.
Emmaus. Shout out to any Emmaus listeners. Tell us how you got engaged while you were at Emmaus. This is a really boring, long fact. Where was I? There are 3 colleges, blah, 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 blah. But the Eastern Iowa University has the same colors as the University of Northern Iowa. Wow! What a fact! I'm glad that I took time to read that.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it's Iowa.
Yep. Jared Padalecki, Sam, and Brian Scala, Rich. I think Rich was the guy that died in the beginning.
I think so.
Played buddies in Gilmore Girls in 2003.
Oh.
Did you watch Gilmore Girls?
I did not.
I didn't either.
Maybe we should.
Doesn't seem like my kind of thing. As Sam and Dean are leaving the sheriff's office, Dean says, "I talked the sheriff down to a fine. Dude, I'm Matlock." Matlock was a 1980s TV show about a criminal defense lawyer. Did you know that?
Yeah, man, I watched me some Matlock.
I was obsessed with Matlock. I think it's funny. It's funny that that's a fact. Matlock was such a good show. I love that show.
I really don't remember much of it.
It's a good show.
I want to say it was good. I just don't remember.
I just remember he ate hot dogs
take your word for it.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And also, you remember that Arrested Development episode where they hire Matlock to, come and lean over and whisper something in your ear? You remember that from Arrested Development?
I don't remember that.
Oh, they paid
I guess I need to watch that
20
again.
grand to just come and whisper something in your ear. It's really good.
That's awesome.
Anyway, the show calls it Eastern Iowa University, but in reality, Eastern Iowa Community College is located in Davenport, Iowa. So lots of cool Iowa facts. Thank you so much, IMDb, for providing those for us. That's going to be a regular segment on the show, I think. Anyway, that's it for today.
All right.
Okay. Well,
I think we did good.
I think we did fun. So we have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the things. We are at Wayward Thing Pod on Twitter and Wayward Somethings. Probably if you just search that on Facebook, Wayward Somethings Podcast, you can find us. Wayward Somethings podcast on YouTube, wayward.somethings at Instagram. Is that right, Rachel? Rachel set us up an Instagram.
Oh.
You set it up,
that.
Rachel.
Alright, I'm opening it up. But, hold on, I'm not used to switching from my personal account to the other account.
Oh my god. I'm gonna leave all of this horribleness in there so people can know.
That was the first time I'd ever tried to use another account.
Mm-hmm.
Account. It's gonna be faster if I just search for it. Probably.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna read a goof that I see on IMDb. Goof. Silver doesn't burn. So according to the show's lore, burning Lori's silver locket, well, it wasn't a locket, it was a cross, would have the same effect as reforging the silver hook, or the other way around.
It is wayward.somethings.
Oh, okay, wayward.somethings. But what do you think about that burning the silver hook according to the... But they were burning it, there was salt in the fire, so I think that it still makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that this goof refers to it as a locket rather than a silver cross makes me not trust the random internet person who put it on there.
I don't trust him either.
It's looking over there's no other good goofs. Anyway, so yeah, find us on socials, reach out to us at waywardsomethings@google.com. That's our email, if you want to email us. And yeah, thank you for listening, everyone, and stuff. Rachel?
Yes.
Sing us out.
Ooh, let's see if I can remember. Supernatural, you're so scary. Oh my stars.
Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo.
Right.
Have a good week.
You too.
Bye.
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 Bye. I'm stopping.
Oh.